If you Google moving to Lincoln Park, Chicago, every single post tells you the exact same thing. It's pretty, it's right by the lake, it's safe, and the median home price is sitting right around $850,000. What those blogs don't tell you, and what most real estate videos completely gloss over, is that Lincoln Park is actually four entirely different micro neighborhoods inside one zip code. A $700,000 condo on Lincoln Park West gets you a totally different lifestyle, a totally different building, and a totally different monthly expense than a $700,000 condo 4 blocks west near DePaul University. And right now, in 2026, Lincoln Park inventory is down over 40%. Homes are going under contract in about 6 days and are selling between 4 and 20% above list price. So if you come into this market unprepared, you're going to lose homes in bidding wars or buy into an older building with a massive special assessment. I'm Dee Savic. I lived in Chicago for 27 years, and I've been helping people relocate to Chicago and within Chicago for over 20 years. So let's walk these 4 pockets of Lincoln Park together, and I'll show you one corner where buyers can get 400 square feet more for $100,000 less. So let's start with a map so you can picture where we are. Lincoln Park is about 2 miles directly north of downtown. You have Lake Michigan to the east, Lakeview to the north, Old Town to the south, and the Chicago River and 9094 Expressway over to the west. It's dense and super walkable. So before you open Zillow and start looking at condo pictures, you need to know which one of these pockets fits your budget and your life. Let's start on the east side, east of Clark Street towards Stockton Drive and Lincoln Park West. This is the lakefront and high-rise pocket. Your steps from the park, the Lincoln Park Zoo, the conservatory, and the North Avenue Beach. Most of the housing here is mid-rise and high-rise condo buildings built in the 1960s and 70s. You can find older 2-bedroom condos here for $400,000 or $500,000, which looks like a bargain on paper. But I'm going to be completely honest with you on this next point, because it trips buyers up constantly, and this is something that people often miss. A lot of these high-rise buildings have 24-hour doormen, indoor or outdoor pools, elevators, and central heat, gyms, and that pushes the monthly assessment fees up to $900, $1,200, and even $1,500 every single month. In my opinion, when you're paying $1,300 a month in HOA fees on a $450,000 condo, that is a lot of money every month that is not going toward building your equity. So you better be sure that you're actually using these amenities. And that payment gets added straight into your debt calculation, which directly affects how much money a bank will lend you. So the higher the HOA fee, the less home you can buy. And if those numbers are already making you think Lincoln Park is completely out of your budget, don't assume that just yet. As you move further west, between Halstead and Racine, you are in the historic heart of Lincoln Park. This is where you find those iconic streets with tree canopies, row houses, and historic greystones built back in the late 1800s. Townhomes in this pocket generally run between $800,000 and $1.2 million. If you want a detached single-family home here, they usually start around $1.8 million and go up from there. This area is walker's paradise. You can get to coffee shops, bakeries, boutiques, and some of the best restaurants in the city in minutes, but keep in mind that during college move-in weeks in late August, the parking and street activity around DePaul definitely spike. Now head down to southwest corner near Clybourne and North Avenue, and you hit an area called Ranch Triangle. That is the pocket that I mentioned earlier. You see a lot of modern 3-bedroom condos and townhomes here, priced between $650,000 and $950,000, and because it's a little further from the lakefront, your dollar stretches more, and you can sometimes get 300 to 500 square feet extra for $100,000 less than you would pay near Armitage or the park. Plus, it's ideal if you want fast access to the expressway or shopping along Clybourne without driving through a neighborhood congestion. But you're not going to get that polished, tree-lined feel that many buyers imagine when they think Lincoln Park. And finally, up on the northern edge towards Diversey and Wrightwood, you've got the Park West and Wrightwood enclave. This pocket is quiet, very residential, and packed with families who move here specifically to get into the top-rated public elementary schools. Now hold that thought, because schools in Lincoln Park are their own conversation, and I'm going to show you exactly how those boundaries work in a few minutes. But we can't talk about Lincoln Park without talking about Billionaires Row. This is where you have one of the highest concentrations of luxury real estate in the entire city of Chicago. If you walk down Burling, Orchard, or Howie Street, you're looking at some of the most spectacular homes in the Midwest. You'll find custom limestone mansions sitting on a 2 or 3 city lots with underground garages, rooftop gardens, and private courtyards. These estates routinely sell from $5 million to over $15 million. Some of these streets even have private security patrolling patrolling them. These are usually retired or off-duty Chicago police, and even if that is not in your price point, living a few blocks from these streets gives the whole neighborhood that timeless, elegant feel that Lincoln Park is famous for. Okay, so now you got a real sense of these pockets and what they cost, but choosing the right pocket is only a part of a decision. The next question almost every out-of-state buyer asks me is, how is the commute? How are you actually going to get to work or the airport? Lincoln Park is one of the best connected neighborhoods in the city. The CTA Brown Line runs through the middle of the neighborhood with stops at Armitage, Fullerton, and Diversey. If your office is in the Loop, you can usually get downtown in about 15 minutes. And at Fullerton, you can also transfer to the Red Line or the Purple Line Express during the morning rush. If you drive, Lakeshore Drive gives you a quick access downtown, and on a clear morning, the drive can take about 10 minutes depending on where in Lincoln Park you live. But here's the local tip worth knowing. Stay off Fullerton Avenue during evening rush hour if you can, because between 4 and 6:30 p.m. it becomes a massive bottleneck for people trying to reach Lakeshore Drive or the Kennedy Expressway. And if you work in the suburbs or fly out O'Hare for business, the Clybourne Metro Station on the west side of the neighborhood can also be very convenient. So yes, the commute is easy from Lincoln Park, but the exact pocket you choose still matters. Now remember those school boundaries I told you to hold on to, because this is where two homes only a few blocks apart can have a completely different value to a family. If you have kids or you're planning on starting a family, this is where people make the most expensive mistake of their entire search. School boundaries in Lincoln Park drive real estate values and buying decisions more than almost any other factor. Lincoln Park is home to some of the most sought after public elementary schools in the entire Chicago public school system, especially Lincoln, Oscar Mayer, and Prescott Elementary. Here's what you need to know. In Chicago, public school boundaries don't follow zip codes or general neighborhood names. They can change block by block. You can look at two homes on the exact same street, just 3 blocks apart, and one is assigned to Lincoln Elementary and the other is in a completely different school zone. Even if the listing description advertises a property as having Lincoln Park schools, you need to pull the official Chicago Public Schools boundary map and put in the exact home address before you even write an offer. I'll drop the link to that in the description. And I'm not telling you all this to make you nervous. Lincoln Park is an incredible place to live no matter where you are. I just want you to know exactly what you're buying before you sign the contract, if that even matters to you. So why do people happily pay this kind of premium to live in Lincoln Park? It really comes down to daily lifestyle and what you can walk to right out of your front door. If you love shopping or dining out, the intersection of Armitage and Halsted is packed with boutiques, local cafes, great dining spots like Summer House Santa Monica. Down on Diversey Parkway, you've got Trader Joe's, and over on Kingsbury Street, there's a massive 75,000 square foot flagship Whole Foods where half of the neighborhood does their weekend grocery shopping. And if you love being outdoors, this neighborhood is hard to top anywhere in the Midwest. You have direct access to 18-mile paved lakefront trail for running, walking, or biking along the water. You have Diversey and Belmont harbors if you keep a boat, and peaceful nature spots like North and South Ponds for weekend walks. And right at Diversey Parkway, there's a driving range where you can hit golf balls right in the park. And Sidney Morawitz Golf Course just north of Belmont Harbor has stunning views of the lake and downtown skyline. But before you fall in love with a lifestyle and write an offer, there are 3 things that you need to check carefully. These are the things that can turn what looks like a perfect Lincoln Park condo into a very expensive surprise after closing. First, let's talk masonry and tuck pointing. A huge percentage of Lincoln Park condos are in 100-year-old vintage brick buildings. And if you're coming from a warmer climate where brick isn't a common building material and you never heard of tuck pointing, that is the mortar between the bricks. When temperatures change in Chicago from freezing to hot, over time it chips off, so rain and melting snow can seep inside the walls and create moisture or mold damage in your unit. If a building hasn't maintained it, the homeowners association may need to hire masonry contractors to repair it, and depending on the extent of repairs and the size of the building, this could be a major expense. And if the association doesn't have enough money in reserve account to cover that, it has to issue a special assessment, which means the owners will have to come up with more money on top of their regular assessment to cover the bill. But don't panic. When we walk through these buildings, I always look at the exterior, and then we need to be sure to ask about the age of the roof and the association's reserves before we do anything else. Second, pay close attention to alleys and the parking. Most garages in Lincoln Park are behind the building, and you access them through narrow back alleys. If you drive a large SUV, trying to swing a wide vehicle into a tight garage of a narrow, icy alley in the middle of February can be a daily frustration. So before you put an offer on a condo, physically drive your car down the alley and park in the garage space during showing to make sure it actually fits your vehicle. And third, you need to understand how Chicago property taxes actually work. In Cook County, which is where Chicago is, property taxes are reassessed every 3 years. In Lincoln Park, you should plan on budgeting roughly 1.75 to 2% of the home's purchase price every year in property taxes. On a $600,000 condo, that means budgeting about $10,000 to $12,000 a year, which comes out to roughly $800 to $1,000 every month for your property taxes. So keep in mind that because these taxes are reassessed every 3 years, they will not stay fixed. Property values in Lincoln Park have had some of the largest appreciation historically, which is great for homeowners, but the flip side of that is that taxes have gone up a lot too. And when you're buying, that tax payment gets added directly into your monthly mortgage payment, which, just like HOA fees, affects your debt to income ratio and what a lender will approve you for. At the end of the day, Lincoln Park gives you an incredible walkability, great transit options, historic charm, some of the most beautiful streets in Chicago, if not the entire Midwest, world-class parks, restaurants, and top schools. You just have to know exactly what you're looking for before you buy. And if you're planning a move to Chicago and need help figuring out if Lincoln Park is the right fit for you, feel free to reach out. I help people make decisions like this every single day, and my number is on the screen and in the description. And if you want to see how Lincoln Park compares to Lakeview right next door, check out my Lincoln Park versus Lakeview video too. I'll post it right here. I'm Dee Savic. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.